everybody. My name is Shannon Massey. I'm an executive director with Monat Global, but I really wanted to tell you more about who I am. So I've had a few people ask me if I won the lottery because they saw this check. I actually went on a director's trip to Miami earlier this month in July, and we had this director's meeting, and we had this thing called Palooza where they introduced our new incredible hydration products. But they also had a ceremony for those who had recently promoted to executive director, and they presented us with this big old check. I've always seen those checks on TV and wondered what it would be like to get one. You know, like when you win the lottery. I love watching My Lottery Dream Home and seeing the people with the big checks. So when I was in the airport on the way home, I can't tell you how many people asked me, did you win the lottery? Or commented on the check, or, you know, it was crazy. I bet I had 15 conversations in one day at the Charlotte airport and at the Miami airport just carrying this check because it wouldn't fit in my suitcase. So no, I didn't win the lottery. But yet I feel like I did, because I want to share with you why I feel like I won the lottery. I feel like I won the lottery when Monat came into my life almost 4 years ago. It'll be 4 years in October. So this check was a big deal for my family, and I'm just going to tell you what it was like before and kind of what it's like now. So just to give you some insight to who I am. I'm in Memphis, Tennessee. I've lived here all my life. I married my high school sweetheart. I met him when I was 12. He was 13. He is in law enforcement, been in law enforcement for almost 26 years now. We have 4 sons, Michael, Mark, Chase, and Joey. They range between 15 and 25 right now. Chase is getting ready to graduate next month with his master's degree. He's already working his first full real job at an accounting firm here in Memphis. And Mark is going to be a junior in college, and Michael will be a sophomore in high school. And our oldest just recently, about 8 months ago, bought his first house. So that was really exciting. And that's our family. So, you know, when I see this check and people see this check, I never want anyone to think that, you know, I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth or anything. I really want people to know what went behind earning this check. And I don't know, and I'm probably going to date myself here, but do any of y'all remember the movie from the 70s, I guess it was? I'm 48, so I was born in 1970. And there was this movie called The Bad News Bears when I was young. I loved this movie. It was like this kind of misfit group of Little League baseball players, and they were the underdogs, and but they were really good kids, and they, you know, put this team together and played against all the cool kids and the, you know, the better teams and all that kind of, the official teams that had uniforms and all that kind of stuff. And the Bad News Bears didn't even have uniforms. They had like holes in their tennis shoes and stuff like that. So I loved that movie because I felt like an underdog. I felt like a misfit. I've kind of always felt that way in school and that kind of thing. I wasn't a cheerleader. I wasn't what I would consider Miss Popular, although I did, you know, get along with everybody. But I just never really felt like I fit in. I played softball in high school. I played basketball. I loved climbing trees. My mother liked to fish, so I learned to fish at a very young age. I still love to fish. I have 4 sons and a husband, and I like to fish more than any of them. That's just kind of what I like to relax and do. And, you know, so I kind of always felt like a misfit. Plus, I had a very turbulent, kind of dysfunctional childhood. So it was always chaotic and that kind of thing. So I just never really felt like I had a place to fit in or belong. And so I loved the movie The Bad News Bears. They did come and they ended up winning the championship through all their trials and troubles because they had heart and they had grit, and they just, grinded their way to the championship and all that kind of stuff. And I've kind of always been a fan of the underdog all my life because of that. I was outreach director at my church several years ago for many years. Loved that position, loved being able to help the community in any way I could, and how I could pour into people and try to make some kind of difference in their life. And so that's really where I came from. My parents married and divorced each other 3 times. You can imagine what that was like. By the 3rd time they got remarried, I just bawled my eyes out when I found out they got remarried, because they didn't tell us till after the fact. And it was just kind of crazy. And so we struggled financially. There was one point the summer before I was a senior in high school, where I had to take care of my brother, who's a year and a half younger than I am. And I can remember sitting on the kitchen floor eating pork and bean sandwiches, because that's all we had. We were on food stamps for a period of time when I was young growing up, and it was just kind of crazy. So I wanted just to give you that kind of background on where I came from, some of the things I enjoy. I'm a huge Steely Dan fan. I love the saxophone. My husband and I have been to hundreds and hundreds of concerts since we met when we were, 12 and 13. And that's kind of our thing we like to do. And I'm a big Foo Fighters fan. Saw them recently here in Memphis again for the 2nd time. I love jazz. I love hip hop. A little bit of information about me you might be surprised to know is that I was in a breakdancing little entourage when I was in high school or junior high school, and we would break dance at the mall, and people would throw money at our feet and stuff like that. So music's always been a big part of my life. I love music, love dancing and all that kind of stuff. And I can't believe I just told you guys that, but anyway, that's just who I am. I just want you guys to see who I am and kind of get a feel for where I'm coming from here. So that was what it was like. And when I became an adult, I moved out, got my own apartment when I was 18. I was making $3.35 an hour working at a record store. Loved that because, again, I love music. And the top albums of '88, I believe, were Guns N' Roses, Appetite for Destruction, and what else was popular? I don't know. I have to think about it. But that was a big one. And I don't even know how in the world my roommate and I even afforded our little apartment on $3.35 an hour. But I've always been very independent, probably because of my upbringing. And it was tough, but it was fun. And I didn't really know any different. So when Joe and I got married, we dated for 7 years, broke up for 7 years the year after I graduated high school, and then got married, reconnected and got married when I was 27. So, and then we had, I had Chase already. He had my stepson Joey, which he's mine. I don't refer to him as my stepson. Joey was 4, Chase was 2 when we got married, and then we had Mark and Michael also. So, that was really for me when life began. I was so happy, really for the first time in my life. I was really happy, and I just loved being a wife, and I absolutely loved being a mom, still do. And so it was great. We have always had a lot of love in our family. But again, my husband's in law enforcement. I was a stay-at-home mom for the first 11 years of our marriage. We were broke as a joke. No kidding. Broke as a joke. But it was very stressful, obviously, financially, but we were just so happy to be together. And that was tough. It was really tough. And then I had to go back to work because my kids were starting to go to, they went to public school for a while. I actually homeschooled for a couple of years, and then they went into some very small Christian schools here in the Memphis area. And I had to pay for tuition. My mother had just passed away from cancer, and that we were able to sell her house and split it between my sister, my brother, and I, and that gave me enough to pay for one of my son's tuition for 1 year at the school I wanted to put him in, which was Emmanuel Lutheran here in Memphis. So we did that, and then I really wanted to be able to send Mark there as well. So I went back to work even though I had, let's see, was Michael born yet? I never had to put Michael in daycare. So I guess it was when he started kindergarten that I went back to work, and I had to because we had to afford tuition, but we also got financial aid. So went back to work, and that was when I was the outreach director at the church, which was the same church affiliated with the school that the boys were going to, and loved that job. And then I moved into a full-time job working as the executive director for one of the pastors who also ran a nonprofit organization. And I did that for 5 years, and then I moved into client services for a commercial real estate company, a global commercial real estate company. But I was more like a customer service type employee. I ran lots of reports. I had 3 screens in front of me at my desk every day running reports, and I was also on the phone with the clients. And these were huge corporations that you would know the names of, worldwide huge corporations. And I would, basically be like the face to them as far as their customer service or their, personal account rep or whatever. So that's what I was doing for the first 2.5 years that I was in my Monat business. And how did I even, come to find Monat? Well, my father, who was a longtime retired fireman here in Memphis, he was my favorite person on the planet other than my husband and children. He was my son's favorite person. I mean, he was their best friend. He never missed a school function, never missed a sporting event of my kids, basketball, baseball, anything that they ever played, rugby. He was just part of the fabric of our lives. And he got a stage 4 cancer diagnosis in 2013. Soon as he got out of the hospital with that diagnosis, because they had to drain some fluid off his lungs, we brought him home to live with us. And we cared for him for 13 months in our home. And unfortunately, he did pass away in my home in August of 2014. Well, my hair had started falling out when he was dying because I was stressed to the max. I was brokenhearted. And watching my kids be brokenhearted was tough, and my favorite person was dying in my home, and we were having to give him morphine every 2 hours and just care for him and love on him. And we did this with we wanted to do this. I would have never wanted him to be anywhere else. But it was definitely tough watching someone you love that much die. And my hair started falling out. So the month after my dad died, I heard about Monat, which was getting ready to launch in the U.S. the next month. And as soon as they, went into business, I bought the products. Because at this point, both my parents had died of cancer. I was not going to use something that was chemical-based to try to help my hair from falling out, basically. Because I know so much about what we put in and on our bodies at this point. So, got the products, fell in love. Within about 8 days, I noticed my hair just was not coming out in my hands, in the shower as much, in my brush, on my clothes, and all that kind of stuff. By 3.5 weeks, I saw these little hairs sticking up everywhere, and my hair was so much healthier by 3.5 weeks. So even though I was thinking, I can't afford these products, I didn't necessarily realize at the time that they lasted like 4 months, but I knew I was gonna not go back to what I was using before because my hair looked terrible before. So I thought, well, I'll just cut out the Starbucks, or I'll take my lunch to work or whatever, and I'll make it work. So, and I also thought maybe this will work for some people that I met when I was taking my dad to chemotherapy. So that's when I upgraded to a market partner. Now again, I was not thinking this is a great time for me to start a business. I was grieving the loss of my favorite person on the planet. I worked full time. I had 4 kids. I just was thinking, it just wasn't, I didn't even realize at that time how big a deal hair was. I knew it was a big deal to me. I didn't realize hair is a big deal to everybody, and I do know that now. But so the last 3.5 years have just been incredible. Again, hair is a big deal. So much of our hair is part of, it's not even just hair, it's our self-image, it's our self-confidence, it's all that kind of stuff. If you have a good hair day, you feel better. You maybe assert yourself a different way. You just have a different attitude. And especially with women. I mean, so much of who we are is tied up in our hair. So, but it's been amazing. It's been so amazing to help so many women and men, but especially women, blossom, self-confidence come out, personalities come out, and I have over 13,000 customers and team members on my team now, which blows me away because I never in a million years thought it would ever turn into this. But hair is a big deal. We're in the United States and Canada, now in the UK, and everywhere, hair is a big deal. I mean, it's job security for one, because hair is a big deal. And it's an $81 billion industry. So, you know, this check right here, which was my bonus for promoting to executive director, this was a direct result of being able to help so many people. Not just with their hair issues, and you know, I love giving people solutions to that, but the people that are in Monat who are also passionate about helping other people are experiencing incredible things like retiring their husband, or paying cash for cars, or building a house, or you know, just being able to buy groceries and pay rent. I was there, you know, I was there. I was always the one with the calculator going down the, you know, aisle with the coupons and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it would take me 3 hours to do a grocery shopping trip because I would match coupons and deals and all that kind of stuff. And then I would even do research before I went to the grocery store. But this business, these products and this opportunity have really changed a lot of people's lives, and that's what this check is representative of. It's, to me, it feels like the Bad News Bears winning their little World Series. It really does. It feels like victory and triumph. It really feels like we're doing some good here, because not only are we giving people back their self-confidence and all that kind of stuff, which is huge, but people's lives are changing because of this. And certainly my life is changing. You know, I have a Cadillac that I got from Monat a year and a half ago. I had a Kia Soul before then. That was my car. You know, the little gerbil car on the commercials. I love that car. My son has it now. I passed it down to him because he was in a wreck. So his car was totaled, and then I got my Cadillac the next month, and then he got the Kia. So it really does feel like the Bad News Bears winning the championship, you know. And Joe and I have paid off upwards of $40,000 worth of debt. Before Monat came along, a family vacation for us was like going from Memphis to Nashville, which is like a 3.5 hour drive. You know, we've been able to take the kids to the beach and give them experiences that they would never have had, to see things that they would never have had. I can remember when Mark was in high school. I think he was getting ready to go into his junior year of high school. And on his own merit, he had been offered this opportunity to go to Washington, D.C. for this leadership conference of students. It cost like $800 to go on this trip. And I saw this little thing sticking out of his backpack one day, and I pulled it out, and it was the slip about it. And he had never given it to me. So I asked him about it. I was like, why didn't you give me this slip? And he said, well, I knew that we couldn't afford it. And oh my gosh, it just broke my heart that he knew that and didn't even want to bother me with it, you know, to even ask about it. But I was determined he was going on that trip. We set up a GoFundMe page. We had friends and family and church family donate to it, and he was able to go, and he's still friends with those people that he met there. So I couldn't even raise $800, you know, and that was what, 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, because he's going to be a junior in college now. But, you know, now he was talking to me about being able to study abroad next summer, and it's like, I don't know, $4,000 or something like that to go. And, you know, I could pay for that if that's what he wanted to do now, and it wouldn't, you know, be a big issue as far as like it wouldn't keep me from not being able to pay my other bills and stuff like that, if you know what I mean. So I want to share with you guys what this opportunity does. It's not about buying huge houses or fast cars or expensive cars or whatever like that. I mean, if you want those things and you get to where you can afford them, that's great. If that's what your heart desires, absolutely go for it. I feel like everybody should just have fun and do what you want to do. You do you, baby. But it really is just about not struggling as much, not having that kind of financial stress as much, because I was there. I'm the person who pays the bills in my family, always have been, the one who does our finances. I was stressed out for the first 17 years of our marriage because I never knew, you know, where this money was necessarily going to come from, and was always scared that something was going to break down or have to be replaced or whatever, because I didn't have a savings account. But, you know, this opportunity, and we are just getting started and going global, that's what you have here. That's what we have here. I mean, it is life changing. So I just wanted to hop on and tell you guys more about myself, let you know that where I came from and where my family is now and all that kind of stuff is hugely different. But I didn't want anybody to ever think that, I just wanted you to know and see a clear picture of what life is, because that's how most of everybody I know lives, is paycheck to paycheck. And you don't have to. I don't have to be a slave to someone else's, opinion of what I'm worth. I was able to leave that corporate America job a year ago in April, making far more money with my Monat business than I was there. As a matter of fact, the month I left, my check from Monat would have taken me 7 months to earn from that job. And this was a Fortune 100 company, global company with $15 billion worth of profits, huge company. So if you are struggling, if you have things that you would like to be able to do, take your family on, pay, have a savings account, whatever it is, my mission now, because I was there, because I'm not anymore, is to help people not have to struggle anymore. That stinks. It stunk to have to always be struggling. And I didn't know that there was any other way. I really didn't. It was just how life was. So, but now I'm here to tell you there's a different way to live. You don't have to have somebody necessarily putting a value on how much you're worth every hour. So I would like to tell you that I believe in you. I know through this journey that there are so many people who don't feel worthy, or they just don't realize that life can be so much more. But I believe in you. You are worth so much more. I love helping women especially figure out how much more they are worth and how much abundance they deserve in life. So if this has touched you in any way, let's talk. This may or may not be for you. I'm totally okay with that if it's not. It's not going to be for everybody. But maybe I can offer you some words of encouragement that will lead you to something that can help change your life, because that's my mission. That's my goal. Whether someone joins me in this business or is my customer or not is not the point. The point is your life can be so much more than what it is now. And you are worth so much more. Own it. Explore it. Grow in that confidence every day. And I have some great resources and books and other things I can recommend to you too. So I'm going to hop off here. I'm going to go see if I can find the Bad News Bears movie on Netflix or something, YouTube. And I hope you guys have a great day. I'll talk to you guys later.